Come on, just suck it up. Make something of yourself. You're being lazy right now. You could really be worth something if you just put in the work. Do you recognize this inner voice? It's not the voice of self-love and compassion. It does seem to care about you though. It tells you that you have potential, that you could be worthy. You just have to prove it. And it might not be a loving voice, but it's not a hateful one either. I was convinced that I had a lot of self-compassion and that I was kind to myself. And in many ways, I also was. I know what a mean inner voice sounds like. I know what a very critical inner voice sounds like. And mine had definitely progressed to something nicer. But still there was always this like pressure and heaviness underneath it. And I could feel it. I just couldn't see it yet. My inner voice wasn't loud or mean. She was a bit sneaky, and her message was wrapped in words of care. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. You've been down for long enough now. Just move on and think positively. Why are you struggling? You know what to do. Just do it. You have so much value to give. You're wasting it. If you would just get your shit together, someone could really love you one day and be happy to have you. She wanted the best for me. She wanted me to feel loved and accepted. But there was a big error in her thinking. She assumed that I did not have inherent worth, that love needs to be earned, that I'm only worthy if I prove my value and I'm easy to digest. She was coming from a place of lack. I was constantly pushing myself, proving myself, aiming for perfection. And in periods where I succeeded, I felt good about myself. But there was always this fear and pressure around keeping it up, because losing it would mean being worthless again. In the past year, life really pushed me to my limit. I lost almost everything that gave me a sense of worth. I got hit with so many heavy life events back to back that I failed to get up right away, like I normally can and would if life knocks me down. And there I was, confronted with this feeling of unworthiness and no fight left in me to do anything about it. But it did reveal something to me. Everything that happened made me see my ego really clearly. And slowly I wasn't drowning in it anymore. I was looking at it. And I could see it for what it was. An illusion. A fearful voice trying to keep me safe. And she was doing her best. She meant well, but she didn't have a clue. She thought I wasn't good enough, and that if I failed to prove that I was, that meant being unsafe and unloved. But what she didn't realize is that I was already enough. And that I was already safe. You know, you cannot add something to something that's already whole. Just imagine, when we're born, everybody gets a score from 1 to 100. You never get to see your score, and other people won't either. And the higher your score is, the higher your worth. Even though you don't know what your score is, you have this feeling that you got a low one, that you got a low worth. But luckily, you learned ways in which you can hide this. You learned how people with high scores act, what they're like, or what you believe they're like. So you start focusing on this, and you start trying to hide your low score by focusing on beauty, success, being rich, smart, useful, easy to be around. And most of the time you manage pretty well. But there's always this underlying fear that people will see through your facade, that you'll make a mistake and be found out. So you keep pushing and you keep proving, trying not to make any mistake. You live like this your entire life, always in this fear of being found out, keeping parts of yourself hidden. Only to find out at the end of your life that everyone got a perfect score from the start. There was never anything that could be added to the score or taken away. There was never anything to prove. You were already worthy from the start. You were just meant to live authentically. Experience the highs and lows, share your experience with others, enjoy the beautiful moments, cry about the sad ones. You were just meant to be yourself. There was never anything to hide, because there was never anything wrong with you to begin with. I would even go as far as to say that most of our problems in life are the result of our belief in this metaphorical point system. If you believe that your worth is something you have to prove and earn, every area of your life becomes a performance. Instead of feeling and experiencing our lives, we try to shape how it looks. But if your life looks great and feels like shit, you're not living it for yourself. This also reminds me of a quote from Warren Buffett. Would you rather be the world's greatest lover and known as the worst, or the world's worst lover but known as the best? And this question ultimately asks us to choose between ego and experience, between what our life looks like and what it feels like. If you choose the former, this comes with a heavy price, because the scoreboard might be in your head, but the bill lands in your body. Anxiety, restlessness, stress, tight muscles. You're paying a really heavy price to prove something that doesn't even need any proving. The moment that you call bullshit on this whole system and learn to take off the mask, to stop proving yourself, it's not like your life will magically turn into a Disney movie. The dishes will still pile up, your boss will still be a jerk sometimes, life will still hurt sometimes, but it will feel a little lighter. You'll have a bit more room to breathe. You'll be able to laugh in the mess, to rest without feeling guilty, or to screw up and learn from it instead of spiral and self-criticize. You might be afraid that you'll lose your drive. If you actually start to believe that you're already worthy, that you do not have to prove your worth. And in some ways that might be true. There is a big chance that you'll lose a drive, or the drive you have now, to work on extrinsic goals. You'll probably be less worried with what your life looks like. But there's a high chance that you'll feel more driven to work towards things that are actually important to you, to work on intrinsic goals, on what your life feels like, what you feel like. Fear can definitely drive us, but when fear is the main driver, it won't sustain you for very long, because fear burns up fast and it will leave you empty. While work that's fueled by joy, curiosity, meaning leaves you feeling full. And it might still be hard sometimes, but there's not this constant tightness in your chest, this constant pressure, because there is nothing to lose, just something to experience. Let yourself be. Be a mess when that is what there is. Be enthusiastic and loud when you feel the energy rushing through your body. Open up about your struggles and about what you're feeling. Ask for help. Live, dance, cry, play. You're not here to perform. You're here to experience. So stop focusing on what your life looks like and start focusing on what it feels like.